Well, it just figures this is one of the nicest days during the winter, and we're shooting everything inside. Let's start off talking about Houseplants 101. You know, back in the 70s, when I was a young man, they were all the rage. Everybody had houseplants, and now it has become popular once again. People living in apartments, people gardening indoors, they're loving their houseplants. We all know that they make oxygen, but there's a great study from NASA that shows they also clean the air of other toxins. So I've always had houseplants. In fact, almost every windowsill in the house is filled with houseplants. In fact, I'm not allowed to bring any more houseplants into the house, but I've got a few to show off here because we've got some traditional ones, but there's a lot of plants now that have some color. So here is mother-in-law's tongue, the snake plant. They call it the mother-in-law's tongue because it's so sharp. Some people call it the mother-in-law plant, but that's because it is really hard to kill, and that's not very nice. This is a plant, and like most house plants, that they're chosen to be house plants because they can take abuse. And one of the most important things about house plants, keep them on the dry side. And there's an easy way to test. You just pick up the plant, put your finger down in there. If it's dry, it's time to water. If it's wet, don't bother because, again, they can take abuse. We've got some real beauties here. I have fallen in love with this called Chinese evergreen, and look at the color on these leaves. This has become a very popular plant. And again, just as easy as any of these other plants to grow. One thing not to do on these plants, and we always say they're killed with kindness, too much water, too much fertilizer, no fertilization this time of the year. We don't fertilize until the days get longer and the plant can use the fertilizer, and that means March, April. But look at some of this stuff. This beautiful red one here is a tillandsia. You've got a philodendron here with just chartreuse, just so beautiful. You know, pothos is an old favorite, but he's got a variegated variety. There's a million different choices. And if you're looking for something to do during the winter when you can't garden, houseplants are one way to do it. Now, the next job we're going to do is something brand new for me, and I've fallen in love with it. We're going to be growing sprouts, and I've already been eating them like crazy. I have had so much fun with this microgreen grower. I can't tell you. I showed it to you last week in the video, and I've been growing stuff in it, radishes and other greens, and it has just made my winter breeze by, and it comes with everything you need. And so this was actually just a little peat pot that I added water to. It expands and becomes the soil. We're just going to tap that into the bottom here. And this is just like starting any seeds. You just moisten up your seed starting mix so that it's moist and not dripping. Doesn't need a lot. It just needs just enough medium here. And I'm maybe a ½ inch here. Just enough medium just to get the seeds to sprout. The seeds we're using are just like your normal garden seeds. They don't have to be anything special. If you were to sprout these in water for some reason, you need a special food grade seed, but not when you're doing it in soil. And here's our planting mix ready to go. And it has this little tray underneath to catch any extra water or soil. Put it in here. And it comes with two different packs of seeds. One is just some alfalfa, and these are radishes, and man, the radishes are phenomenal. For my holiday dinner, I made some little Triscuits with cream cheese that had these radish sprouts on it with a little salmon on top, and everybody was like, perfect. And we'll just tap these in. And it's going to be real thick. We're not giving them any distance between each other because this is going to be a carpet of greens when this sprouts. And once we get them all in here, look at all those. That seems tight, doesn't it? But it's going to be good. All right, and I'm just going to kind of push those seeds in, cover a few of them. Some of them will stay up, but believe it or not, they will all sprout in just a few days. And I actually have another one over here filled with the alfalfa. I'll show you what that looks like when they do start to sprout. One thing nice about this, too, it fits the windowsill perfectly. Our seeds are pushed down in there, good contact to moist soil. Comes with this little plastic top. As soon as they sprout, we'll pull this off and take a look at these little alfalfa sprouts that are coming up. And in 2 or 3 days, all we'll do is take some scissors and snip those. Put them in the fridge. You can use them on a sandwich. You can use them in a salad, any way you want to use them. They're highly nutritious, very tender, and lots of fun for kids of all ages. All right, let's finish up. Well, another great way to keep gardening during the winter besides houseplants are planting bulbs of amaryllis or paper whites. This one is called Winter Sun. Never grown it before. It's got beautiful yellow centers, and the aroma is just mild. And so if people don't really love paper whites in the house, you might be able to get away with this one and still have some pretty flowers for the winter. Now, check me out online. There's lots of great gardening info there. Also, that's where you can join my Seed of the Month Club. Until next week, I'm going to be watering my houseplants because they need it. Very dry.